Everybody says the middle class is running away from California, and the numbers look terrifying. In 2025, the state lost somewhere between 150,000 and 216,000 people. That's like an entire city packing up and vanishing in a single year. But here's what the scary headlines are hiding from you. Most of those families never actually left California at all. They did something much sneakier. They quietly slipped away from the expensive coast and reappeared in towns almost nobody's talking about. Places where a normal person can still buy a real house with a real backyard on a normal paycheck. While everyone panics about the California exodus, a second secret migration is happening right under their noses. And today, I'm handing you the exact 10 towns where it's happening. Stick around, because number 4 has quietly become a magnet for escaping Bay Area families, and number 1 might change your whole plan. Here's my one small ask. If even one town on this list made you go, wait, I could actually afford that, drop that town's name in the comments. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious which one you'd pick. And if these videos help you, subscribing is just one click. One click that keeps this channel alive and tells me to keep digging up hidden gems like these for you. Number 10, Chico. Let's kick things off up north in Butte County with a town that feels like it belongs in a different, gentler version of California. Chico is a college town, but don't let that fool you into picturing chaos and crowds. Picture instead tree-lined streets so thick with shade they feel like green tunnels, a genuine walkable downtown where the coffee shops know your name, and a giant urban park that locals treat like their own backyard. It's the kind of place where people still wave at their neighbors and mean it. Now here's why the middle class is quietly flooding in. The median home price sits right around $469,000. For California, that number is almost shocking. It's well below the state average, and it puts an actual house with an actual yard within reach of teachers, nurses, and remote workers who got priced out of the coast years ago. But affordability alone doesn't tell the whole story. Watch how fast homes disappear here. The average property spends just about 26 days on the market before it's snapped up. That speed is the real signal. When homes sell that quickly, it means demand is red hot. People know something, and they're moving before the secret gets out. What's pulling them in? A rare combination. You get outdoor recreation everywhere you look, hiking, swimming holes, and the Sierra foothills just a short drive away, paired with a real sense of community that big cities simply can't manufacture. Families come for the space, retirees come for the calm, remote workers come for both, plus the paycheck they get to keep. Practical tip. If Chico's on your radar, focus your search on the neighborhoods slightly north and east of the university. You'll sidestep the noisy student rental churn, land in quieter family pockets, and often get noticeably more house for the same money. Chico rewards buyers who know exactly where to look. And now, you're one of them. Let's keep climbing the list. Number 9, Redding. Keep driving north past the college town charm of Chico, and you'll eventually roll into a place that sits in the literal shadow of a snow-capped volcano. Welcome to Redding, tucked up into Shasta County, where Mount Shasta looms on the horizon like a postcard that never stops. This is where the middle-class migration gets serious because Redding holds a title that changes lives. It's one of the most affordable metros in the entire state. Let that sink in. In a state famous for crushing home prices, Redding quietly offers some of the lowest housing costs you'll find anywhere in California. And it does it without feeling like a compromise. Yes, there's a trade-off. You're a real distance from the big coastal cities, so this isn't for someone who needs LA or San Francisco within arm's reach. But for the growing army of remote workers, that trade-off isn't a downside at all. It's the whole point, because what you get in return is breathtaking. We're talking lakes, rushing rivers, endless hiking trails, and the famous sundial bridge glowing over the Sacramento River at sunset. This is nature on a grand scale, the kind of scenery people usually pay a fortune to vacation near, available to you every single morning. Families who work from home are discovering they can earn a coastal-style paycheck while living somewhere their money stretches twice as far. That's the quiet math driving people here. Same income, dramatically lower cost of living, and a backyard full of adventure. For a middle class family feeling squeezed on the coast, Redding can feel like exhaling for the first time in years. Practical tip: the one thing to plan for is the heat. Redding summers get genuinely intense. Before you buy, prioritize a home with modern insulation or solar panels. That single decision can save you a small fortune on cooling costs and turn an affordable house into a truly affordable life. Now let's head back down toward the valley. Number 8, Yuba City. Now we drop down into the wide, flat farmland of the Sacramento Valley, and we arrive at a town that most people drive right past without a second glance. That's exactly why it made this list. Yuba City isn't flashy. It doesn't have a famous volcano or a buzzing college scene. What it has is something far more valuable to a squeezed middle-class family. It's the quiet commuter's secret. Here's the play. Yuba City offers housing that's noticeably cheaper than what you'll pay in Sacramento. Yet it keeps you within genuine striking distance of the capital's booming job market. Think about what that means for real life. You can hold down a solid Sacramento job with a Sacramento paycheck while coming home each night to a house that costs meaningfully less than one closer to the city. For families running the numbers, that gap is everything. This is a practical, no-frills choice, and I mean that as the highest compliment. Yuba City is for the household that cares more about home value than nightlife. The family that would rather have an extra bedroom and a real yard than a trendy zip code. It's the kind of decision people make when they've stopped chasing status and started chasing stability. And that mindset is spreading fast. As Sacramento itself fills up with former Bay Area transplants, prices there keep climbing, which quietly pushes value hunters one town over into places exactly like this. Yuba City is catching the overflow, and the smart money is arriving early before the rest of the crowd figures it out. Practical tip: if one partner is going to commute into Sacramento, do not skip this step. Test drive that commute at actual rush hour before you buy. Not at noon on a quiet Sunday, but at 7:45 on a Tuesday morning. The value only works if the drive works for your daily life. Get that right. And Yuba City becomes one of the smartest moves on this entire list. Number 7, Sacramento. Now, we arrive at the beating heart of this entire story. The town that's less of a hidden gem and more of a gravitational force pulling the middle class inland. Meet Sacramento, the state capital, and the single biggest anchor of California's quiet migration. If the other towns on this list are catching the overflow, Sacramento is the reason the water's rising in the first place. Here's the headline that changes everything. Multiple analyses now name the Sacramento region the most affordable major area in California. Not the cheapest tiny town, the most affordable major metro. That's a crucial difference, and it's why this city is absorbing wave after wave after wave of former Bay Area residents who finally hit their breaking point on coastal prices. And people aren't sacrificing city life to move here. That's the magic. Sacramento gives you real urban living, a genuine restaurant scene, professional jobs in government, healthcare, and a growing tech sector, plus steadily improving public transit. You get the energy and opportunity of a real city, but at a median home price that sits far, far below San Francisco's. For a family that wants career options and a mortgage they can breathe under, that combination is almost irresistible. Think about what's really happening here. Someone commutes to a Bay Area job for a decade, watches their rent climb into the stratosphere, and then realizes they can sell the dream of the coast and buy an actual life just 90 minutes inland. Same ambition, a fraction of the cost. Multiply that story by tens of thousands of families, and you understand why Sacramento is booming. Practical tip. Here's the insider move. The smartest value often isn't inside the city limits at all. It's in the surrounding suburbs where you can capture Sacramento's jobs and amenities while paying less and gaining more space. And that tip leads us perfectly into number 6, one of the crown jewels of those suburbs. Number 6, Folsom. Just east of Sacramento, along the shimmering edge of a lake, sits the suburb that families whisper about like a prize they're afraid someone else will grab first. This is Folsom. And if Sacramento is the anchor of this migration, Folsom is the trophy. This is where middle-class families go when they've done their homework and decided they want it all in one package. And by all, I mean the three things families quietly obsess over. First, top-rated schools, the kind that show up on best of lists year after year and quietly drive every buying decision in the household. Second, low crime, the peace of mind of a town where you don't think twice about an evening walk. And third, lake access, with boating, trails, and weekend recreation right on your doorstep. Folsom consistently ranks among the very best places to live in the entire state, and that reputation is precisely why the middle class is competing so fiercely to get in. Now, let's be honest about the trade-off. Folsom is pricier than a value play like Yuba City. Nobody's pretending otherwise. But here's the mindset of the people moving here. They're not just buying square footage. They're buying stability and school districts. The two assets families prize above almost everything else. For a parent, a great school zone isn't an expense. It's an investment in their kids' entire future. That's why they'll stretch for it. And that demand creates a real dynamic you need to understand. Because everyone wants in, inventory here is tight. Homes that check all the boxes don't sit around waiting patiently for indecisive buyers. Practical tip: if Folsom is your target, do not shop casually. Get fully pre-approved before you start looking, and be mentally ready to move quickly when the right home appears. In a market this competitive, hesitation doesn't just cost you time, it costs you the house. Come prepared, and Folsom can become the forever home you didn't think you could afford. Number 5, Clovis. Now we swing down into the wide-open Central Valley, and we land in a town that has quietly turned itself into California's poster child for family life. Right next door to Fresno sits Clovis, and it has earned a reputation that money genuinely can't buy. It's the family-friendly alternative. When people in this region talk about wanting to raise kids somewhere that still feels wholesome, Clovis is almost always the name that comes up. So what's the magic here? Start with the strong schools, which anchor the whole town's identity and pull in family after family. Add a charming, historic old town, a real gathering place with rodeo heritage, farmers markets, and Friday night events that make residents feel like they're part of something. Then layer on that rare, priceless quality, a genuine small city feel, cozy and neighborly, but with all the big city amenities of Fresno sitting right across the border. You get the intimacy of a small town without ever sacrificing convenience. That combination is exactly why locals consistently rank Clovis as one of the best value spots in the entire state. It's not just affordable, it's affordable and desirable, which is a much rarer thing. For a middle-class family, that's the dream scenario. A place where your dollar goes far, your kids get great schools, and your weekends actually feel like weekends. And here's the beautiful part about its location. It hands you a hidden strategy most buyers completely miss. Practical tip: because Clovis and Fresno literally share a border, you should shop both sides of that line at the same time. Homes just over the boundary on the Fresno side can sometimes offer nearly identical amenities and access. The same shopping, the same freeways, the same feel, for a noticeably lower price. By expanding your search just a few blocks, you can capture the Clovis lifestyle without always paying the full Clovis premium. Play it smart, and this town delivers enormous value. Number 4, Bakersfield. Here it is. The town I teased at the very beginning, the magnet for escaping Bay Area families. Buckle up, because Bakersfield is about to make you do a double take. Sitting at the southern end of the Central Valley, this is one of California's largest and most affordable metros, and the number I'm about to give you sounds to anyone coming from the coast like a straight-up misprint. Ready? The median sale price in Bakersfield hovered right around $400,000 to $420,000 in 2025. Read that again. In a state where a modest coastal condo can cost $1 million, Bakersfield offers a real full-size house for a fraction of that. For a family that spent years crammed into an overpriced Bay Area rental, that price tag doesn't just look affordable, it looks like freedom. But here's what separates Bakersfield from a town that's merely cheap. It has real jobs. This isn't a place where you buy a bargain house and then can't find work. The local economy runs on serious, sturdy industries: energy, agriculture, and logistics, the kind of foundational sectors that keep paychecks flowing even when the broader economy wobbles. That's the crucial combination so many affordable towns lack: low prices and a working economy that can actually support your household. Put those two things together and you understand the migration. A family sells the coastal dream, buys a spacious home for the price of a coastal down payment, and steps into a job market with genuine opportunity. That's not a downgrade. For a lot of people, that's a total life upgrade. Practical tip: there's one thing you must plan for, and it's the heat. Bakersfield summers are genuinely brutal, so before you sign anything, budget for cooling and prioritize an energy-efficient home. Good insulation, modern windows, ideally solar. That single decision dramatically lowers your true monthly cost and turns a cheap house into a genuinely affordable life. Bakersfield rewards the buyer who plans ahead. Number 3, Redlands. Now let's head down to Southern California, into a region most people associate with endless freeways and giant warehouses: the Inland Empire. And right in the middle of it sits a town that feels like a delightful glitch in the Matrix. Meet Redlands, the charming exception to everything you'd expect from this area. While its neighbors sprawl with logistics centers, Redlands quietly holds on to something rarer: genuine character. Picture it: historic homes with real architecture and front porches, fragrant citrus groves left over from the region's golden age, and a downtown that's actually pretty walkable, historic, full of local shops and restaurants where you genuinely want to spend a Saturday. It's the kind of town that makes people slow down, look around, and think, wait, this is the Inland Empire. And here's the trend that lands it on our list: the middle class is actively growing here. This isn't a town in decline being propped up by low prices. It's a place people are choosing on purpose. The heart of the action sits in the mid $500,000 to mid $700,000 price range, where homes move briskly. Now, I'll be straight with you. That's higher than what you'd pay out in the Central Valley, but context is everything. For a Southern Californian priced out of Orange County or Los Angeles, where similar homes cost dramatically more, Redlands is an absolute bargain. It offers coastal-adjacent access and real charm at a price that finally makes sense. That's the calculation drawing families in. The one challenge? Its best homes are in high demand and don't always hit the open market. Practical tip: Redlands rewards patience and connections. Its most character-rich historic neighborhoods rarely list publicly. The great homes often trade quietly, so build a relationship with a local agent early, someone plugged into the community who hears about properties before they're advertised. In a town this special, an inside track is worth its weight in gold. Number 2, Lancaster and Palmdale. We're nearly at the top, and for number 2, we climb up into the high desert north of Los Angeles, into the wide, sun-baked expanse of the Antelope Valley. Here sit two twin cities working together as one of Southern California's best-kept affordability secrets: Lancaster and Palmdale. For a family that's been priced completely out of LA, these towns aren't just an option. They're a lifeline. Here's the core appeal, and it's a powerful one. These cities offer some of the lowest paths to homeownership in all of Southern California. Think about how rare that is. Within reasonable reach of the second largest city in the country, you can still find homes at prices that let a middle-class family stop renting and finally own something of their own. For people who'd given up on ever holding a set of house keys, that's not a small thing. It's a door reopening. And this isn't a region standing still either. New infrastructure and growing employment centers are steadily reshaping the Antelope Valley, slowly transforming it from a distant outpost into a genuine destination. As jobs move closer and development matures, these cities become more attractive by the year. The families arriving now are essentially getting in early before the rest of Southern California catches on to what's happening up here. That's the quiet logic driving the move. Priced out of LA but unwilling to give up on ownership, families are looking at the map, spotting the Antelope Valley, and realizing the dream is still alive. Just a little further out. Practical tip: be honest with yourself about one thing. The desert lifestyle isn't for everyone. The climate here swings hard with scorching summers and genuinely cold, windy winters. So before you commit, visit in both summer and winter. Feel the heat, feel the wind, and make sure it fits your family. Get that reality check right, and homeownership finally becomes possible. Number 1, Fresno. And here we are, the number 1 town where the middle class is quietly moving, the one I promised might change your whole plan. Drumroll please, it's Fresno, the beating heart of the Central Valley. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Fresno? Really? Stick with me, because the reasons it tops this list are more compelling than almost anyone realizes. Here's what makes Fresno the champion. It delivers the complete package. Start with genuine affordability. Real, full-size homes at prices that stay firmly within middle-class reach, unlike anything you'll find on the coast. Then add something a lot of cheap towns simply don't have: real job growth. This is a full-size city with a full-size economy, meaning you're not trading opportunity for affordability. You get both. That's the balance so many places on this list chase, and Fresno nails it. But the secret weapon is what's sitting in the backyard. Fresno is the gateway to nature on an epic scale. Yosemite, Sequoia, and the towering Sierra Nevada are practically at your doorstep, the kind of world-famous wilderness people cross oceans to see, available to you for a casual weekend trip. Imagine buying an affordable home in a working city and having some of the most spectacular national parks on Earth as your regular weekend escape. That combination is why Fresno isn't a compromised town anymore. It's becoming a genuine destination. People aren't settling for Fresno. Increasingly, they're choosing it. And that shift is exactly why it's quietly filling up, while everyone's attention is somewhere else. Practical tip: Fresno's neighborhoods vary a lot, sometimes dramatically from one block to the next. So whatever you do, don't judge the city by a single drive-through. Dig into specific districts and school zones, do your research neighborhood by neighborhood, and you'll uncover pockets of real value and charm. Do that homework, and Fresno might just be the smartest move on this entire list. So there you have it, 10 California towns where the middle class isn't disappearing at all, but quietly rebuilding. And before you go, notice the common thread running through every single one of them. Not one made this list simply for being the cheapest zip code on a map. Every town hit that magic sweet spot, a lower price combined with real jobs, decent schools, and a lifestyle genuinely worth having. That balance is the whole secret. So if you're thinking about making a move yourself, here's your simple checklist. First, calculate your true costs. Factor in the commute and the cooling bills, not just the sticker price. Second, visit more than once, in different seasons, so the place surprises you before you buy, not after. Third, look for growth signals like new infrastructure and business investment. They tell you a town is rising, not fading. And fourth, prioritize energy efficiency. Because in these hot inland towns, it's the difference between a smart deal and a money pit. The big takeaway is this: the story everyone's telling you about California is only half true. Yes, the coast has pushed the middle class to the brink. But inland, in these overlooked towns, ordinary families are finding something they'd almost given up on: a real house, a real yard, and a real shot at the life they wanted. The middle class isn't vanishing. It's just moving somewhere the headlines aren't looking. And now, you know exactly where.